Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Peter Jennings, and I go by CSURAM88 across the daily fantasy industry. And I can't believe it's already week 15, but I'm excited to be doing another model preview here at FantasyLabs. And I'm previewing the running back position, which I haven't done in a little while. And it's certainly a very intriguing week with a running back with options at the low price tier, the mid price tier, and at the top, obviously, with David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell. So we'll be talking about a lot of those guys and taking a look here at what the model spit out. Let's dive into what I did specifically for this model. Pretty standard, but I mixed in a couple other things. So I did 20 points for Vegas score, and you'll see at the top the two guys in Atlanta are ranking 1 and 2, and that has a lot to do with this slider. So the Falcons team total is just outrageous this week going against San Francisco. I have opponent rating at 15, projected points per dollar at 25, projected plus minus at 20. And again, if you haven't watched any of these, this is one of my favorite stats. It's a proprietary stat here at FantasyLabs, and it's a really cool thing to look at that takes into account the salary and their expectation. I projected ceiling at 10, so I'm doing a little bit more of a tournament lineup here, or tournament model. And then I have market share percentage at 5 points. I really like this stat for receivers. It is applicable, though, for running backs as well. And then I projected plays as well at 5%. So trying to find guys who might have more opportunity as an offense. That's really big for the passing game, but also can be leveraged for the running game as well. So wanted to take a look at that. And I'm pretty pleased with what it's spinning out here with the running backs. So let's take a look at the running backs at the top of the list. And number 1, we have Tevin Coleman. And Tevin Coleman is a guy I really liked coming out of college. And I was really bullish on him last year until the injury. The concern, obviously, is the split time, but he's had a really nice stretch of games, obviously, with the touchdowns. I shouldn't say really nice stretch of games, but he had a really nice game last game, and there are starting to be signs that he could be an impact player in terms of fantasy production at a cheap price. And now going against San Francisco, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a good game and Devontae Freeman had a good game. He has a lot of upside in the passing game. The really big thing is just getting the touches. Going in San Francisco, hopefully he will get that opportunity. Devonta Freeman right below him. You have to pay a much bigger price tag for him versus Coleman. He has been the lead back throughout the year. However, last game was a little concerning to see his touches. But we'll see. I still think he's a really good play, and certainly someone that I don't think will be in as many rosters relative to other guys, just because there's so many good cheap plays this week, and people still want to roster David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell. Lamar Miller here, I ended up playing him in one of my big teams last week in the DraftKings New York Championship, the DraftKings Fantasy Football Championship held in New York, I should say. I do like Lamar Miller. I'm worried a little bit about his health. He did get subbed out of the game for a stretch of time against the Colts last week, but still ended up with 21 carries, 107 yards. Going up against Jacksonville here, it certainly makes sense to get exposure to him. I'm not as bullish on the Houston offense. I've bought them way too many times, but Lamar Miller is an intriguing play and kind of in a price point too, where people might not go as much given some of the other options. We have Le'Veon Bell next. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time other than looking at his game log and just wishing I would have had this 54.8 fantasy performance on one of my DraftKings Fantasy Football Championship rosters. But recency bias is going to make this guy super owned. Obviously, he's been great all year. The production's just ridiculous. The opportunity is ridiculous. He's so talented. He's a joy to watch. I will say it's a troubling spot for Cincinnati for the Steelers in general going into Cincinnati. Their offense generally performs a lot worse on the road. Big splits for Big Ben on the road, and this is the second time within the division. Cincinnati has also done a good job bottling up Antonio Brown. So take that for what it's worth. Le'Veon's still a great play. He's a great play every week. Kenneth Farrow's the next guy here. Recording this here late on Wednesday night. I wanted to make sure I got all the news before getting this out. And Farrow is going to be the starter. Melvin Gordon is basically a lock to sit. I think he might even be confirmed out now, but he's a lock to sit. He's probably going to miss the rest of the year. So it's going to be the Kenneth Farrow show. We talked about him on the podcast. I've gotten a little bit more bullish on him than I originally was. I was a little biased because I didn't love him in college, partially because I was always taking the quarterback. So whenever he scored, it was devastating for me. But I do think Farrow, he makes sense. He's going to get opportunity, and the one thing you love to see last game after getting subbing in for Melvin Gordon, he did great in the passing game. 6 targets, 6 catches. which is obviously huge on DraftKings. And at 4,400, he's going to be a really popular play. We have Fat Rob next. I probably won't have too much Fat Rob. The one concern with Fat Rob is just his involvement in the passing game. He did have 2 catches last week, but it's pretty minimal relative to some other running backs, and that's what we're really looking for at DraftKings. He's also kind of at a weird price point. Could make a really good GPP play because of that, but I think people will go elsewhere. David Johnson's the next guy on the list. He's been ridiculous all season. Only angle that you could take in terms of just lowering his raw projection down is that Arizona doesn't have much to play for. They're probably out of the playoffs, so they might want to rest him some, but David Johnson's a freak, and in this matchup, I expect him to have a really good game. The issue is his price tag. Same thing with Le'Veon Bell. It's been jamming them in cash for feels like the last 2 months just playing both those guys, but their prices are really high, and certainly there's a lot of opportunity costs in playing them, especially in tournaments, but still great plays. Spencer Ware's the next guy. I don't mind him. On the Kansas City side, I'll probably be buying a little bit more of the passing game, but I still think he's interesting. Kenneth Dixon's one of my favorite guys here. Philly's kind of just given up, and although they were really good in the front 7 to start the year, the team just hasn't been playing as well. And what I love to see here with Dixon, who is a really hyped player coming into the year, is this passing game involvement. 11 targets at this price. Obviously, he's so cheap because he played on Monday night, and the pricing had already came out. So he's a guy that's probably my favorite value at this point in this matchup, and I'll definitely have a lot of exposure to him. Make sure to follow the news, obviously. You can do that at FantasyLabs NFL just to make sure that he's going to be locked and loaded into a big role. But assuming he is, I love Kenneth Dixon this week. LaShawn McCoy, another guy who's in a great spot here in the expensive range. Great matchup here against Cleveland. Could just go absolutely off. Definitely don't mind pivoting to him over Le'Veon and David Johnson, especially in tournaments. And I really like just Buffalo in general in this spot. So LaShawn McCoy should have a great game. Thomas Rawls is the next guy. If you're playing Thursday, you can certainly look at him. I probably won't have him at all. LeGarrette Blount, if you're going to attack Denver, you definitely want to do it on the ground. I just have a hard time playing LeGarrette Blount in this spot in Denver. I haven't played him played him very much at all this year, and I've missed on him when I did play him, I believe against San Francisco when he didn't score a touchdown. So I'm not a Blount whisperer. You'll have to look for someone else to give you good advice on when to play Blount. It certainly has not been me this year, but he is intriguing and another viable tournament option. There's just so many good plays here. Latavius Murray, don't mind him on the other side. I think he'll be low owned in that price range. Carlos Hyde, even after a big game, might not have the ownership that he should. We talked about him on the podcast. I'm a little higher than others. I like his talent, but we'll see what ends up happening with Carlos Hyde. The one concern that is legit with him is if they get down, Sean Drone has been a great pass-catching back for San Francisco, and they might rest Hyde. Scrolling a little bit further down, James White I won't have exposure to. Just too much going on now with Dion Lewis. Rashad Jennings, I'm probably fading against Detroit. Frank Gore, I never play. Jerick McKinnon is the next guy I want to talk about. He's intriguing. Love seeing the involvement in the passing game, and I think he'll be lower owned than all these other cheap running backs with Yeldon and Farrow and obviously Dixon, who I really like. He'll be the low-owned guy, so I think that's a really nice GPP play at home against the Colts. Jeremy Hill versus Pittsburgh, certainly could make an argument for him, kind of in that same range. I think all these guys in the mid-5K range will be pretty low-owned, so you can take advantage of that just with the way roster construction is going to work this week. Also, Ezekiel Elliott here. You're going to get him at way lower ownership than some of these other guys, so I like him as well. There's a lot of good plays. This really is a lot of good plays. The guys down here, I'm just not touching really. Justin Forsett, I'm not interested in. Matt Asiata, I'm not interested in, and he'll probably burn me. Jonathan Stewart, probably won't have much exposure to. I know he's been getting opportunity. You can see here 24 carries last game, but I don't know. I haven't had too many teams where I've considered him, which might make him a really good tournament play. Again, just kind of a weird pricing point, lower 5K range, but most people are spending down at running back in the high 3s to low 4K range or going up to the studs. So I think Stewart could be lower owned guy, but he's not one of my favorites in that range. And that's kind of the gist of it. There's not too many other guys I think deserve talking about extensively. I think Yeldon's interesting against Houston because of his involvement in the passing game. Certainly can make a case for DeMarco Murray, although I did think Travis Henry got a lot more work last week, so we'll have to monitor just his opportunity going forward. And that's kind of the gist of it. So hope this was helpful for you guys. There's a ton of cool stuff that you can do here. You can see our projected ownership. I guess that's kind of what I'll finish off with here. Highest projected guys we have are Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, and Dixon, like I talked about. And then Devontae Freeman, LaShawn McCoy, Farrow, Coleman, and a whole bunch of other guys in the 9 to 12% range. Adam Levitan, along with the FantasyLabs staff, is responsible for this, and I think it's a really good way to look at players for cash games. You can look at the high-owned guys and leverage that, and then also for tournaments, finding guys you may like that are in a lower expected ownership range. There's a bunch of cool stuff here. Hope it's been a good season for you guys. I want to keep it going through the end of the year. We launched hockey here at FantasyLabs as well, so definitely check that out. And, of course, again, my name is Peter Jennings. I go by CSURAM88. These are just my opinions, but I hope they work out. And good luck to all of you guys going forward, and especially to the FantasyLabs subscribers here in Week 15.